Every path to godliness somehow has to involve humility. This was even true for Jesus himself. In Philippians chapter 2, it traces this journey of Jesus who, being in very nature God, didn't consider equality with God something to be grasped, but instead he humbled himself. He became human. He became one of us. And even as he became human, he humbled himself further, even to the point of death on a cross. And it's because of his humility that God therefore exalts him to the highest place. There are many passages of Scripture that we'll even see in Proverbs that talk about the way that God has kind of a right to humble arrogant people, but also to exalt lowly people. Now, one of the challenges about humility is that as soon as you try to say, I am now a humble person, by definition, you're not anymore. It's something that is a tricky posture to try and maintain, but also something that's greatly valuable. Henry Nouwen is a great Christian thinker who's pointed out some different false ways that we might try to establish our value, that we would set ourselves up arrogantly to try and establish why we should matter. One of the ways that we do this is through the things that people say about us. That I'm going to go out and wear myself out so that people will have to speak of me in a certain way. I want to be known as that kind of person. So sometimes it's by the things that people say about us. Other times it's by the things that we can do. So I want to be known as a person. Maybe not everyone likes me, but everyone has to acknowledge I'm good at this. I'm the expert at this. I'm the one who's proven myself that everyone has to acknowledge I'm good at something. We try to define ourselves by what we can do, and then we also try to define ourselves by the things that we have or possess. A good benchmark for thinking about your possessions is to ask yourself, really ask yourself, why is it that I'm buying this thing? Am I buying it because it's genuinely useful, that I'm fully able to serve people better and show better the love of God because I possess it? Or am I buying this thing because I need to be seen a certain way? And because I own it, people will assume something about perhaps my level of income or how important I am or how cool and techie I am. But why is it that we buy the things that we buy? Because God would invite us to know that we're loved as His children, irrespective of any of those things. It's not just a matter of what people say about us or what we can do or what we have, but we're already God's beloved before we are anything else. Humility is learning to value that truth more than you value any of those other things you might use to try and put a mask over yourself to impress people. There is no path to godliness that does not involve humility. Humility is quite worthy of our reflection this week.